Welcome, welcome, friends. Welcome to a brand new author's day, her book launch day. Julia Kolouch. I said that wrong. Julia, please correct me.
Kolouch.
Kolouch. Well, I'm so happy that it's your book launch day and that you are here. Please share with everybody the title of your book.
Absolutely. The book is The Adventures of Mrs. Crockess and Ivy. No pockets, no problem.
I love it. I love the illustrations. I love the story. Julia, please tell us what inspired you to write this book.
Well, it's rather funny. My great niece at the time was about 3 years old, and she is a dog lover like everybody else in my family. And she would often come to our home when we were on vacation. Her family would come and dog sit. And so she developed this very tight relationship with my dog, Winston. And so I guess she started telling stories at the dinner table at home when she, had been with him and, including him in her imaginary play. And so she would suddenly say things like, I'm going to text Winston right now. And so those stories became more complex. And she one day shared a story with her parents that she and her dog, who she in this story called Mrs. Crockess, would run errands together. And she had a very specific car in mind that they drove, and they would go run errands, they'd go get coffee, they'd do all kinds of silly things. And of course, her imagination took them on a lot of different silly adventures. And so when she would share these with me, I, just naturally would ask her questions like, well, that's very interesting. And how does Mrs. Crockess, take all the things that she needs with her? And Ivy was very quick to tell me like how silly of you, Auntie, I've got this figured out. It's not going to be a problem. So from there, our whole family, of course, was chiming in on the silliness and just sweetness of the story. And it just kind of lit a fire for me of, why am I just telling this story and creating it to the people in my immediate family? There might be some better, bigger story here. So that's how it all
Hmm.
started.
What a beautiful inspiration. You took that from a 3-year-old. What a smart little girl
She
to answer
is.
questions and use her imagination like that.
Yeah.
Wow. So please tell everybody, what is the book about and who would you say that it's for?
Sure. I would say primarily children from pre-K through elementary school, but as we know, there's, going to be age groups younger and older than that that would enjoy it. But the book originally, my only sole purpose in writing it was to just tell this ridiculous story. And I chose to have Mrs. Crockess be the one driving, and she talks and does all these other silly things. So my original thought was I just want to share a silly, ridiculous story that children and families can chuckle about. But then
Hmm.
as the story evolved, I realized that it really was also about the magic of friendship. These two individuals have these challenges that they face. And so it's also about persistence and being there for one another and problem solving. So,
Hmm. So good. And of course, after reading the story, I can see how all of those pieces are in it. But, when I read it, I just thought, what a fun story. But you're
thank you.
right, from everything that happens, we can always take those lessons, right? And that's what we really want for children to be able to see that inside of a picture book. Is there
Yeah.
anything else that you hope that parents and kids will take away from this book?
Um, have been an educator all of my life, and so I think primarily I just want them to enjoy reading.
Mm.
And have some silly giggles and laughs as they read through it. The parents, of course, are going to see the ridiculousness of a dog driving a car much sooner, perhaps, than a child, and for them to be able to share in that discovery. I think also with parents, I would hope that they see some connections to their own lives For example, Mrs. Crockess insists on taking a number of things with her when they go in the car. And part of the story behind or rationale behind that is who hasn't ridden in a car with a young child who feels like they need to take their entire bedroom with them in the car, those sorts of
Yes.
things. And Mrs. Crockett goes nowhere without her lip balm. So, as a mom, I can relate to that. I don't go far away from my
Yes.
lip balm. So, for parents, I'm hoping they'll see that. There's also some really beautiful little teases in the illustrations that the illustrator put in that parents will definitely get a kick out of because they'll be able to relate to it in a way a child can't. And for
Mm.
children, again, just having a book with their significant adult that makes them giggle and laugh and enjoy reading. So,
Hmm. Well, so fun. The story is so much fun, but your illustrations are so fun also. Tell me a little bit about your illustrator.
oh, he's amazing. His name is Petros Bouloubekis, and he lives in Greece.
Mm.
He was just amazing. He put his own personality into the illustrations. When I went seeking an illustrator, I looked for two things. One, looked for somebody who could draw animals with whimsy, and
Hmm.
he certainly nailed that. And then also looked for somebody who could illustrate children and be able to show not only the whimsy but the various emotions, that a child might express when they're facing difficulties. So I contacted him, found that he was available, and he's just been an absolute pleasure to work with. So
Mm.
he coincidentally, without knowing my niece, of course, other than seeing a picture of her, he added on the t-shirts that he illustrated of her and her mother in the book, he added a heart on one and a sun on the other. And I didn't really think much about it at first. I just thought it was sweet and nice. And then it took me a few weeks to realize and connect that how serendipitous it was that he did that, because when I think of my Ivy, I have always described her as love and light. And
Mm.
so when I then realized, oh my goodness, here's this beautiful coincidence that he added love and light into the book with us not even talking about it. So he's simply amazing.
Oh, so good. And such fun illustrations.
Yeah.
So I want to take a moment now and just let our viewers know that the book is available on Amazon today. So make sure to go grab a copy of the book. I love how you said just sitting down with our significant, well, for us, the child, but the child sitting with their significant adult, reading and cherishing those moments together is really special. And this is a book to do that with. So go find it on Amazon. It's there as an ebook format, softcover format, and hardcover also. So, Julia, let's talk a little bit about your journey into becoming a children's book author.
Sure.
Now, had you thought about being a writer and author prior to Ivy coming into your life?
It's funny because I don't know that I've had a really traditional journey. What I think is traditional, and that's probably not fair either, right? um, I I didn't really set out early in my life to say I'm going to write a children's book someday. I
Hmm.
came about this kind of in an interesting way. I was a kindergarten teacher for many, many years and had the luxury of working in a fantastic school system in the States. And through that, met some amazing professionals. And one of my fellow teachers and I would spend our weekends in Harvard Square and visiting all the bookstores in Harvard Square. So back in the day when, bookstores were brick and mortar. And
Hmm.
so we would just sit on the floors of these bookstores and, go through the various books. And I fell in love with the art in the books and the language, the patterns and rhythms and whatnot.
Mm.
And so, of course, I bought many, many books and ended up collecting more than 2,000 books at one point.
Wow.
And it dawned on me when I was going through this journey that that's really where it started for me.
Hmm.
I knew at some point that I wanted to offer some type of written work to the world of education in some format, but I had not really considered myself a children's book author, partly because as I collected all these books for my classroom, keeping in mind I was buying books from the masters, right?
Hmm.
Eric
Yeah.
Carle, Bill Martin, Chris Van Allsburg, Mim Fox, all of these amazing authors. Why would I ever consider myself eligible to do something like that?
Right.
So my admiration for them was so great that I didn't think that was for me. So,
Mm.
so here we are. This story that was shared by my niece, and I realized, I've been telling stories for a really long time. Maybe I can do this. So that's
Yes.
where it happened.
I love that. And look at you now,
I
a
know, right?
children's book author. So good, Julia. So, take us through maybe some of the challenges. What was the biggest challenge for you when writing this book? I think there's always lessons and challenges. This is why I like to ask this question.
Right. I think the biggest challenge for me came with overcoming my fear of putting myself out there.
Hmm.
So I remember at one point during our journey with you, you challenged us to tell somebody you're an author. I thought, oh, I don't know if I can do that. And it took me a while to actually say that I'm doing this. So I felt, I was kind of hiding behind it. I didn't know how people would react. I was afraid, that, oh gosh, what if I do this and then they don't like it? And it finally dawned on me it doesn't matter. Not everyone is going to like it, but there's going to be a lot of people that do like it. So
Hmm.
it really was just overcoming fear.
Yes. I'm so glad you shared that. I think that is the case. A lot of us feel that. And if you focus on that one person that's going to enjoy the book, right? Your niece, you,
Right.
that's worth it. So what would you say is the biggest lesson that you learned throughout the publishing process?
The biggest lesson I would say probably, yeah, I'll get kind of specific because it was really fascinating to me, is that I had not, I mean, I knew writing a children's book was not going to be easy. I knew I would love it. But I also knew it was new. There's lots of unknowns, and it can sometimes feel overwhelming. What
Hmm.
fascinated me was what I learned about what you have to think about when you actually are targeting a children's audience. And so learning so much through your team, specifically Sharon Jennings when she was editing and providing feedback, thought, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that we needed to be thinking in this way. So for me, the biggest lessons were really about, oh my goodness, there's so much thought and care that goes into making sure those words are exactly what you want them to be so that they'll hit with the reader.
Hmm. Oh, that is so good. So good. Thank you for sharing, Julia. So now you are here, a children's book author. What would you say is the best part of accomplishing this goal for you?
It's probably cliche, but just holding the book, being able to say I did this.
Yeah.
There's a wonderful sense of accomplishment knowing that I did something that started out hard in my head, and yet I loved it. It's quite exciting. And then on another level, I think I just can't wait for my family to see the final product because there's little gifts in the illustrations in the book, and I'm just beyond excited to show that to them. See if they
Oh,
catch it.
yeah, that's so exciting. Like little, what do they say? Like
Like
Easter
Easter
eggs
eggs.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for the family. Oh, I'm excited
Yeah.
for you and your family to experience that. So here you are now on the other side, the children's book author. And we have a lot of aspiring children's book authors that watch our interviews. What advice do you want to give to that person that's, working or thinking about their children's book, but they're not there yet?
Right. I think for me, the biggest thing was just having the village around me, right? Working
Mhm.
with your team, and I would highly recommend anyone interested to work with your team If somebody takes a different journey, I would just recommend put yourself with other people that
Yeah.
have a similar goal or are in a similar phase in the journey, along with some experts, because it is a lot. So I think really for me, it's just, build a community around yourself so that you have people that understand the process.
That's great. Thank you. Thanks, Julia. So besides going to Amazon, because I want to make sure everybody go to Amazon today and grab a copy of this wonderful book. You and the children in your life are going to love it. Besides that, where else can our viewers find you?
Sure. Well, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Both are Julia Kolouch Books. And then also my website is juliakolouchbooks.com.
Excellent. Okay, very good. And now your last name. I mispronounced it. Sorry, Kolouch. Um, so good. So before we go, Julia, I want to give you a moment. Is there anything you wish I would have asked you or anything else you would like to share?
Just how grateful and awesome this process has been. And I'm serious when I say anyone that thinks that they might want to do this, attend. Mine started with attending one of your free webinars one evening, and I was hooked. So I would just encourage people to do that. And I was thinking about writing a book, and then suddenly your name popped up in some other way, and here we are. So just would
Mhm.
encourage folks to do that.
Oh, thank you so much, Julia. Well, I'm going to be watching your social media accounts because I do want to see you holding, well, you with the book, but also gifting that to your
Yeah.
family. And I'd love to know what they thought when they found the little Easter eggs in inside of the book and in the story. Yeah. So, friends, thank you so much for being here. You know what to do. Go to Amazon and grab a copy of this book. And Julia, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. Bye bye.